when you buy something, especially those bigger complexes like what you're doing, when you buy it, that's when the work begins. I think as a, getting in the single family realm, and specifically people who start off, at the wholesaling side, which is where I started. The end of the day is when we close, right? You close, you get a check for, $15,000, $20,000 or $8,000 or whatever it is. That's payday. That's the end of the day. But when you're buying these bigger deals, that's when the business starts, right? Every deal is kind of its own business. So do you have like a formula or a criteria now that helps you kind of avoid missing out on those, that, hey, if it falls within this range, the answer is yes. If it falls within this range, the answer is no. How do you judge that when you're coming to a new opportunity?
Yeah. So, I mean, especially when it comes to smaller deals, essentially what I do is I have, in-house formulas that we do that are very conservative underwriting, where if the deal still breaks even, I use the underwriting model and I know I won't lose money, then basically, okay, we'll take a deeper dive into it. Cause, like I had a client that asked me like, hey, I did all this analysis, and they sent it over to me to look at. And it actually really wasn't a client. It was more of just like a friend that wants to become a client. And I'm like, honestly, like, I know this is not what you're looking for, but I just use this basically super high expense ratio. I throw that in there. And if those numbers still work with the high expense ratio after pro forma taxes and I don't lose money, then, I know I'm going to get quality tenants in it, then I buy. So I don't go into like, hey, let's dive into, okay, how much gas is it per month? How much electricity consumes? Because you got to think of it like this way, that, if I'm making $40 an hour, I have time to underwrite these deals that quickly. But if I'm underwriting a deal that's going to cash flow me $400 a month, I can't spend 5 hours underwriting it, because that 5 hours could cost me $50,000 essentially. So for the sake of that reason alone, I can't underwrite these smaller deals, because the return is just not going to get the return on time I want. I had a client that essentially had $10 million liquid, and he was buying like fourplexes and eightplexes, like small deals from me. And this guy's older. And the whole reason I met him is because he said he wanted to get out of the business and retire. And of course that never happened. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're buying this fourplex. Yes, it's $400 a month, $500 a month of cash flow, but ultimately, like, it's such a low amount for you. You could just take that 10 million, invest it passively in syndications, and, all these different deals, get 8% completely tax-free with, double-digit returns on the back end. And I'm pretty sure you can live off 800,000 to 1.5 million pretty easily. And you still get to look at a lot of deals. And so essentially that's kind of this is exactly what he did. And so, our model, actually, we've been doing a lot of that too. Like, people don't realize this, but even though I am very hands-on on my deals, I do invest passively in a lot of people's deals, because that's true mailbox money. Like, I have, even though I have in-house management, that doesn't mean it's completely passive. I mean, I went basically 3 weeks without working at all, trying to transition my dad's healthcare here in Michigan when he moved in with us. So I saw like what happens to my business when I kind of completely step away, and it's like somebody has to make some decisions. My staff, depending on their trust level within the company, which really it's only two people, they have a spend, they have a discretionary spend. So like, one of my VA, they have $1,000 where they can just spend at their discretion. They don't have to ask me. And then we'll review those decisions basically at the end of the week. And if it does not work out well, maybe we take the spend. My other one, he's got a $10,000 spend. So he can make $10,000 decisions without me. Now, that a lot of people can't handle like giving somebody a $10,000 decision to make, but it's either me doing it or somebody else doing it, and the time lost for that. So worst case scenario, they lose $10,000, then we learn from it. And to be honest, there's more loyalty when they make a mistake. You just say, let's just move on and learn from it.